What's up, everybody? My name is Los, and welcome to the Influence Effect. Today we are talking with none other than Scott Oldford. Scott has a great story. We're not going to dive in super deep. You guys know that I don't like diving in super deep into the past. We're going to talk about the present. Scott has built seven-figure businesses, one that's on track to do well over 8 figures, and the coolest thing, he's actually helped over 100 entrepreneurs build a 7-figure business. So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, we're going to talk about business growth, and we're going to talk about, as always, the state of influencers, kind of building this influence economy that we talk about, building the social currency, and what we think is next, and how you can use all these things to implement it inside of your business and have the influence effect turn into an influencer engine. Scott, for everybody that doesn't know you, let's give them a quick overview of what you're up to today.
Yeah, so really what we do today, we help people that are at 6, 7 figures, scaled multi-7-figure businesses. And there's a lot of, hey, does this work or does that work? When you're building a business is incredibly difficult, as you know.
Yeah.
And after doing it so many times, it's like, well, here's these frameworks. And so we utilize these different frameworks and methodologies and make it a lot easier for those that are actually building those businesses. So a lot of the businesses that we help are influencer based, that are selling coaching, consulting services online, and want to be able to take that next step and fix their marketing, fix their sales, and be able to build a really sustainable, scalable business.
So Scott and I are working on a project called the Influence Engine, which helps influencers do what he's helped a lot of coaches and consultants do. This is where he's helped over 100 people scale into 7 and multi-7-figure businesses. So after working with, you've got 60 people in your Project Nuclear program, which is over $100,000. You've got over 100 people in your relevancy engine. Where are people failing? What are the biggest struggles that you're seeing people have that are stuck in the hamster wheel of, like, let's say high 5 and 6 figures, and then the people that hit 7, what's the changes that you're seeing happen?
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if you're at 5 figures, 6 figures, or even low 7 figures. You're always going to be on somewhat of a hamster wheel if you don't fix your marketing, and you don't fix your sales and the ability to automatically do it, right? And so I see that is one of the biggest issues, because if you can't fix that, you can't fix the rest of the problems in the business. If you don't have money is momentum, and if you don't have money, you have no ability to actually go ahead and build a business. So I see a lot of people get kind of stuck on the launch hamster wheel, or they get stuck doing one-on-ones, or they get stuck doing something that's not leverageable, and then on top of not being able to have something that's leverageable, they can't automatically take their audience and turn it into actual revenue for themselves, their business, and so on and so forth. So that's one of the core biggest issues. The second is, then it comes to time of, okay, what, we want to deliver a product, we want to systemize it, and a business is a series of systems, and people aren't willing to put in the time or the effort or the discipline to actually have a systemized structure around their business. And then I would say the third is mindset. And so I've basically put this into, and you can go online and look this up. It's the 6 pillars of 7 figures, and it puts it into really SparkNotes, 27 pages of exactly how all of these pieces work together. But overall, people fail with 1 or 2 or 3 of these pillars, then their entire business is based upon either them hustling, them launching, or them utilizing some more than just, hey, you know what, here's an ad on the internet, let's allow that ad to actually generate us revenue. And unless there's an actual system for being able to take a complete stranger and turn them into a customer, I don't believe you have a business.
I totally agree. Do you think that a lot of this is stemming from people that, influencers, coaches, etc., that have created something, and now we're at a place in the world where you can create content and you can kind of grow something to a decent level quickly, right? Do you think that they stay stuck here because of fear?
Definitely.
Because I would assume that the biggest things that people have are fear of growing a team, fear of not giving value at scale, and fear of not really knowing at the end of the day what they're even selling.
Well, I mean, first off, I don't think anyone, we all have a sneaky suspicion that nobody knows what they're actually doing. So,
right.
so that's the first part. None of us know. We just have an inkling of what has happened to either ourselves or someone around us, which is why I'm a huge believer, and you are as well, mentorship. But I think there's a massive amount of fear because, anytime you're at an inflection point, it's a little painful. Anytime you're actually going to grow, it's painful. And if you're continually growing something, and you're at this kind of, stage of in a way, comfort. You know, you've gotten the 20,000 a month or 50,000 a month. You can do all the things that you've done in the past, and you're like, oh, this is comfortable. Then a lot of entrepreneurs are like, you know what? That's good enough for me. But the problem is, I don't think they are actually thinking about their future. They're not actually thinking about, well, what happens when the algorithm changes? What happens when Instagram doesn't work the way they want it to, or YouTube doesn't work the way, because YouTube don't care about you, Instagram don't care about you, these platforms don't care about you. All they care about is being able to use your content to generate more revenue with the paid advertising that your audience is going to be able to help them with, right? So the way I look at it is, well, how can we utilize, other elements such as paid advertising? How can we use the fear that you have in a way, or the comfort that you have, kind of against yourself for yourself. Mm-hmm. So I love the quote. One a mentor of mine said this once. He said, "I would rather put myself in the corner, and so that I can choose the corner instead of the universe choosing which corner I'm in." And I love that, because both of us are in a situation, neither of us really need to work, the way that we work.
Yeah.
Right? And most people that are, at our level aren't, yet we're the ones making all the things happen. Mm-hmm. And the reason we are doing that is because we see the future, and we want to be able to provide for ourselves, our family, and be able to be wealthy beyond just $1 million in the bank. And I think that's what separates an entrepreneur from just someone doing something online and just making a few dollars. Right. There's a huge difference between making money and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that a lot of times influencers coming in kind of get this shock, right? They're like, whoa, I've got to build a business. And I think that you've made a video where you say, listen, if you're willing to make this change, if you're willing to jump from wherever you are financially to, all right, I want that next level, you've got to completely shift your mind. You've got to make it see, okay, well, now I've got a business. I am going to hire people. I am going to get my message out. I am going to get everything across. I am going to amplify everything, because I'm a huge believer in exactly what you're saying, not only on the business side, but the platforms will go away. And
100%.
right now it's the time to triple down on these things, even if there is less ROI, because the ROI is for the longer
100%. I mean, well, I say it jokingly, but it's the honest truth. Every day I go to bed, and one of my biggest regrets almost every day is that I did not spend enough money on paid advertising that day. Mm-hmm. I have reinvested in my business, reinvested in my brand, reinvested in everything that I do, far more than most of the people that are in my industry. Mm-hmm. But most people 3 years ago didn't have just 1,000 people on their email list. Mm-hmm. Most people 3-4 years ago wasn't $1 million in debt, and now have a business that'll do over 8 figures this year. And it's because I invested because I knew that it was the time, and it still is the time, to invest in this stuff, because I guarantee you 5 years from now, it's going to be a totally different landscape, and those that are winning now and that continually use that momentum are going to be winning then, but it's going to be a lot harder to get in later.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Brian Evans about this. I think it's actually a really hard time to jump into things right now. Everyone thinks it's easy because they see it. Sure, you can get on your phone and you can say whatever. Yep. But one, you have no plan for the most part, normally when people are doing this.
Of course.
Two, there's no amplification process, no real process of like, okay, I'm going to do this. This gets divided into 3 pieces. Yep. I'm going to go over here and do this other thing. And then 3, people burn themselves out because there's no structure. Yep. And so they create and they go, all right, I'm going to do 50 episodes. I'm going to overreach real quick and try to catch up, but then they have no process of, well, what do I do the other 45 coming weeks?
Well, there's a huge difference between, I think there's plenty of content out there, right? It's not about the content creation, it's about content distribution. Mm-hmm. One of the things that, of course, we talk about the nuclear effect, being able to create the 3 currencies. Being able to create the currency of money, the currency of influence, and the currency of fame. Influence is relationships, fame is audience. Mm-hmm. So if you're at ground zero right now, and you don't have any money, you don't have any audience, you don't have any relationships, it's incredibly hard. But if you have one of those currencies, let's say you have the 20,000 or 50,000 people on Instagram that are, your fans. Let's say you have some $20, $30, $40, $50,000 of cash flow on a monthly basis. Well, now you have one of the currencies that can get converted into the other, which is one of the big pieces, of course, what we're working on. Mm-hmm. And I think that is those people that have one of those currencies, they're in a perfect place. And then if you don't have those currencies, my belief is you either go after relationships or audience.
Right.
Because money's the hard one. You've really got to hustle hard to make the money.
Yeah.
But with either one of those, the money comes easy.